All right, let's go to Deuteronomy 28. I'm going to start at the 43rd verse. The class is called, Our People Love to Trust in Oppression. Our people love to trust in oppression.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high.
Now, this is Moses speaking to the Israelites in the wilderness. Who was the strangers that he was referring to?
The strangers were the people that came out with the children of Israel.
Right. Thank you. Have a seat. Get Exodus 12, verse 38. Start at 37. I want y'all to remember that when we fled out of Egypt, the Most High delivered the Israelites. But on our heels were the other slaves that was in Egypt too, other nations that were there. Many of them fled out behind us. They saw their opportunity to flee, they took it. And in the wilderness, they became our servants. I'm going to say that again. Because some of them for a second got a bit of relief and said, see that? I knew the other nations could be saved. No, hell no. They was our slaves. Write this down, Leviticus 25. Verse 44 to 46. Y'all can read that on your own. It tells you that they were our slaves forever. Now, Isaac, we're in Exodus 12, verse 37.
Exodus 12 and verse 37. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men, beside children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle.
And also flocks and herds. So this mixed multitude, this is who we're talking about temporarily for the time being. Now, here's the next question. I'm going to see who's thinking in here. How many people of this generation entered into the promised land? Listen to my question. How many people of this generation entered into the promised land? I worded it like that for a reason. Yeah, I know Liam's going to get it. I'm just trying to get to the point.
It was two people.
Who?
It was Joshua and it was Caleb.
Right. Keep standing. Only Joshua and Caleb of that generation entered the promised land. Their children from 20 and under entered in. Everybody got that? That was the next generation. Keep standing. How many people of the mixed multitude entered the promised land?
I don't know.
None. Have a seat. That's why we had to get new slaves when Joshua entered the land. We had to get new slaves. They all died. God killed them all off. You think he's going to kill us off and not kill them off? But there's that slave mentality again. He killed off all Israel, but he let the other nations enter in. No, hell no. They was all struck down, all of them. When you read about the waters of strife and all that, the Most High was killing them slowly but surely till they all died. And only Joshua and Caleb of that generation entered in. Now, go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 43. We're touching on you nation lovers. Some of y'all secretly love the other nations, men and women. I can't say mostly women. I would like to say mostly the women. But I know some of you brothers up in here, you at home liking the other nations. That's why the women you look for them with, what they call that thing with the hair when the white girls do that thing? The white girl flip. If she can't do the white girl flow, you don't want her. Where are we at, Isaac?
Verse 43.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 43. Listen good.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
So the Most High was letting the children of Israel through Moses know that if we break his commandments, those nations, that mixed multitude that ran out with y'all, that are your slaves right now for the time being, they're going to get up above you very high. You're going to go down very low. Read on.
He shall lend to thee.
He shall lend to thee, like in the banking systems today. These other nations are those that lend to us. Come on.
And thou shalt not lend to him.
And the curse is, you shall not lend to him. Go ahead.
He shall be the head,
He shall be the head of society,
and thou shalt be the tail.
and you Israelites will be on the bottom of all society. Did that come to pass? Oh yes, we're living it today. We are living that thing today. Now, go to Psalms 106 and verse 34, I think. Let me look at it.
Psalms 106, verse 34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them.
See the disobedience of our people? God gave us commandment to destroy certain nations. Like, who can give me an example? And we did not listen.
When Saul, God commanded Saul to kill the Amalekites,
Very good.
and he saved some.
Very good. Saul, King Saul, the first king of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin. You nation lovers. Samuel got so mad he had to show him how to kill this daggone Amalekite. Amalek today is this who? Amalek today is who? Iran. Amalek. The nation of Amalek. The Amalekites. Huh? It's the so-called white man that claims to be a Jew. Very good. Now, get me the one in Ezekiel 28 about what Moab said about Judah. 25 and 8. Thank you. Ezekiel 25 and 8. Get that. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't finish Psalms 106. I'm sorry. We didn't finish that. Back to Psalms 106. You read 334 again. I apologize. Just popped into my head.
Psalms 106 and verse 34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works.
Read 35 again.
But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works.
Come on.
And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them.
Now, we were mingled among the nations and we learned their works. Now, there's a famous, Deacon I thought had a class on this some time ago. I'm stepping out, I'm going into Esau's world just for a second. There's a popular mental disorder where people, I'm trying not to give it too much, help me out here, when they assimilate, feel compassion even for their tormentor. I'm giving it away?
Yeah, it's called Stockholm Syndrome.
Right, very good. It's called the Stockholm Syndrome. Some of y'all need to watch that class Deacon Ithon did. Let's go to the video clip real quick. Blow it up. I need the sound.
After being kidnapped, raped, and held as an 18-year hostage, J.C. Lee Dugard was rescued. But rather than condemning her captor, she shockingly referred to him as a great guy.
On the surface, Dugard's behavior seems bizarre, but it's typical of a psychological phenomenon known as Stockholm Syndrome. Victims of Stockholm Syndrome develop compassion and loyalty towards their captors. The condition follows psychologically traumatizing situations like hostage situations and kidnappings. In fact, Stockholm Syndrome got its name in 1973 when two thieves accosted a bank in Stockholm, Sweden, taking 4 bank employees hostage. For 6 days, the prisoners were held in a bank vault, tied to explosives with nooses around their necks. During a rescue attempt, police were shocked when the captives took offense, siding with the captors. Like the Stockholm victims, people who develop this condition endure situations where they're forced to contemplate the reality of severe injury or death. In order for Stockholm Syndrome to develop, a victim must also perceive that her captors have shown occasional kindnesses. Being permitted to eat, not being punished for a so-called transgression, and even being allowed to live are all considered benevolent to someone with Stockholm Syndrome. People with Stockholm experience symptoms similar to post-traumatic stress disorder patients. They may have flashbacks, nightmares, distrust of others, and the inability to enjoy previously pleasurable activities. No one is sure why this phenomenon occurs, but it has been suggested that a victim believes, perhaps unconsciously, that forming an attachment to her captor maximizes her survival. Oddly, Stockholm Syndrome doesn't resolve in tandem with the end of a hostage situation. In the 1973 bank robbing, the freed hostages remained loyal to their captors, even setting up a fund to cover the criminals' legal fees. These symptoms of Stockholm Syndrome are actually something of an anomaly, because according to FBI reports, 73% of abduction victims show no compassion or affection for their captors. And for the other 27%, long-term therapy together with short-term anxiety or sleep medications offer Stockholm Syndrome sufferers an excellent chance to recover and resume a normal, healthy life.
When he spoke about this Stockholm Syndrome, he was saying that this particular syndrome applies to different types of people that have been through different things. Then he used the term post-traumatic. So, post-traumatic stress, thank you. So, what people, I don't know, am I going into what you? When it said post-traumatic, I'm going to spell it out for you. Post-traumatic slave syndrome is what our people are endowed with from their captors. And that's the reason why we have this love relationship with them. Our people have this same kind of syndrome. We're up there looking at the screen like it's talking about two white people from Scotland. The whole sea of black people and Hispanic people in this country all suffer from that syndrome. You love your captors. You feel sorry for your captors. If your captors are hurt, you're concerned with how they feel. You would have said they put up money to take care of them. You would do the same thing without any hesitation.
And it's true. You heard him say any little kind of, what word did he say?
Right. That was the other piece.
Any little bit of kindness shown to the captor,
Right.
it shows benevolence.
Benevolence.
So the white man gives us
you
food
go. Come on
and
with it.
water and a little job here and there. And he's benevolent. We just love him. He's God to us. We will do anything for him. We will turn on our own mothers and fathers. That's why when we bring out the truth about how great our people are, what's the first thing our people say? What about the white man? That's that syndrome. That's it right there. Ta-ding! That's the churches too.
That's it.
The entire
That's it.
church system is built on a Stockholm Syndrome.
Literally.
Literally. Now watch this. I'm going to show you that in the Bible. Let's go to 1 Maccabees 1. Go ahead.
To give you another example of what the elder just pointed out, and what Deacon Nathan pointed out, and what we saw. Any act of benevolence shown toward the captor, they fall in love with the victim falls in love with the captor. Give you an example. This whole country that you call the United States, it's no mistake that this country was stolen. The whole country was stolen from the original inhabitants that owned this land. And what did he do? Took the whole land from them and relegated them to the bathroom called reservations. And nobody has anything to say about that. Didn't have the audacity to put up a United Nations building on the same land and talk about dealing with injustices of other countries, and the territory that the building is sitting on is stolen. So if you want to argue about crimes of injustice, you got to get the building off this land, because this land don't even belong to you. And nobody said anything.
Exactly. 1 Maccabees 1 and 11.
1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Because it was a time of war. We was fighting against the Greeks. So you had certain wicked Israelites who was in love with the Greeks. Let's make a covenant with them. Now, Tavis Smiley wrote a book. He wrote Tavis Smiley book. I forgot the exact name of it. Do you see it? Yeah, that's it. Blow that up big. Just click on it. Covenant. I want it big. I want us to see it. And we can see it says the covenant with Black America. This book is about so-called Black America making an agreement with white America. And when y'all see the video of this is the funniest video you will ever see. Because they had a certain, give me some word. They had a person, I had a forum of all the quote-unquote black scholars. And one of them came in who they were not particularly happy with being there, called Louis Farrakhan. It went so far, Farrakhan threw the book under the chair, on the floor, kicked it, man, and things was so damn funny, I couldn't stop laughing. Because the things he said is exactly what Deacon Yawasop said. How you gonna make a covenant, an agreement, with a people who have not kept their agreement with the first owners of this land? The video is heavy, y'all gotta check, I just laughed through the whole thing. But now, what verse we at, Isaac?
That was 1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 11.
Come on.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Come on.
So this device pleased them well.
Y'all see that? So this device pleased them well. Go ahead.
Then certain of the people were so forward herein, that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen.
So these gyms and all that is according to the customs of the heathen. I'll speak on that another day, but go ahead.
And made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen.
Now you see that we forsook the holy covenant. Remember the verse above it. It said, let us make, where was it? Verse 11. Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. Now verse 15 says, and forsook the holy covenant. We forsook the covenant with the Most High God and made a covenant with the white man. Was that it, Isaac?
And were sold to do mischief.
And were sold to do mischief, mean all manner of wickedness and sin. From there, go to 2 Maccabees 4 and 7. Watch this.
2 Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 7. But after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called Epiphanes took the kingdom.
Now who remembers what Epiphanes means? Who remembers? Epiphanes. Imar, what does it mean?
Epiphanies mean God on earth.
Right. God on earth. God manifest on earth. That's what it means. So this Edomite took that name. Okay, go ahead.
Jason, the brother of Onias, labored underhand to be high priest.
So there was a guy called Jason. Okay. He decided he wanted to be the high priest. And it said he did what? What's the words that you read it again?
Jason, the brother of Onias, labored underhand.
Labored underhand to become the high priest. You know why that's important? How many high priests are there to be in Israel? There was 2. There were 2 and they would alternate every year. There were 2. Luke 3 and 2. Let me hear that. Read it for me. Go on the mic so we can hear.
It says, Annas and Caiaphas being the high priests, the word of God came unto John, the son of Zacharias, in the wilderness.
Right. Those were the 2 right there. Annas and Caiaphas. 1 year would be Caiaphas, another year would be Annas. They alternated the priesthood, which they were not supposed to do according to the law. I wanted that because it goes in conjunction with what we just read here in 2 Maccabees. Read that again. Back to 2 Maccabees.
2 Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 7. But after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called Epiphanes took the kingdom, Jason, the brother of Onias, labored underhand to be high priest.
When the white man came in power, you had many Israelites dealing underhand for the priesthood. That's why during the time of Christ, you had Annas and you had Caiaphas. Read on.
Promising unto the king by intercession 360 talents of silver, and of another revenue 80 talents.
Watch this, come on.
Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more, if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise and for the training up of youth in the fashions of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians.
So all the young men that practiced and worked out in the gyms were called Antiochians. Come on.
Which when the king had granted, and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to the Greekish fashion.
See that? He brought his own nation. These were Israelites to the Greekish fashion. What y'all see today with the football, basketball, boxing is all the Greekish fashion. Go ahead.
And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Eupolemus, who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid. He took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law.
Right, he put down the governments were according to the Greek law. Go ahead.
He brought up new customs against the law.
So this dude brought up new customs against God's law. Go ahead.
For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat.
That's when you get the little baseball hats. You see Negroes rocking the baseball hats and all that. Those were the hats that Hermes wore. When in the Greek god, the messenger called Hermes, he had that without the brim. He put the brim on later, but he wore that metal hat with the wings on the side, what they call kufis today, or yarmulkes, and now they extended it with the brim. But it's the same hat. Come on.
Now such was the height of Greek fashions.
Such was the height of Greek fashions.
And increase of heathenish manners.
And an increase of heathenish manners. Right, this is the hat right here that he's showing. That's Hermes. Or sometimes they call him Mercury, the messenger. Yes.
Adidas has a pair of sneakers now that they sell with the wings on it.
Right, y'all see those new sneakers that Adidas got? Okay, they got sneakers with wings on it. All comes back to the Greek fashions.
See, a lot of our people get involved in these things and they have no idea that people don't just make these things up. They go back to the history and label it on you.
Exactly. These were the hats they had us wearing. They're called yarmulkes or kufis. Okay, the brim came sometime later. Okay, so that's what it means. They made us wear a hat. Now, with all this that we're bringing out, you will have Israelites. We'll read this history. Not nobody will talk about the Adidas sneakers with the wings on it. They won't talk about Nike or none of that. But they'll speak against us. You Israelites, our own people. Where you at, Isaac?
2 Maccabees 4:13.
Come on.
Through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest, that the priest had no courage to serve any more at the altar.
See that? Come on.
But despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices.
You see, with all that exercise and the sportsmanship, I'm gonna tell. Who can tell me why the young men of Israel loved that so much? All right, let me hear you, Abiel.
They loved the fame, the fortune.
Explain. You got to explain what you're talking about.
They had games. In the games, if you won a particular game, you got the fame, fortune, women, and recognition. You know,
exactly. What do they call that stuff today?
The Olympics.
No. When you get, let's say in sports, and let's use football, they win the championship. What does the star athlete generally get?
The MVP.
I know, damn. Give them the mic.
They get endorsement deals.
You heard that? They get endorsements. That's where the fame and the fortune's coming. Tiger Woods and all these cats, they get major backings behind them. Money. When you got the money, you got the fame, you got what? Women. That's what happens. We ain't got to be stuck around with one woman. That's what was going on. Read that verse again, Isaac, where you at?
2 Maccabees 4:14. That the priests had no courage to serve any more at the altar, but despising the temple.
Go ahead.
And neglecting the sacrifices. Hastened.
What's that word?
Hastened.
That means rushed, hurried up to do what?
to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of exercise. After the game of discus called them forth.
So y'all see that game of discus. They have that still to this day in the Olympics. You have our people trained from the youth up to participate in that thing. You got that, Abiel? Let's get that in case some of y'all don't know what we're talking about. We don't want fish. Yeah, right there. I want the black guy. Get the brother. Okay? That's the game of discus. Now show the ancient statue. Right there, the brother right there. Give me the statue. Right there, far left. Right there. There you go. Same thing. Read that again, Isaac, so we know. Let this marinate.
2 Maccabees 4:14. That the priests had no courage to serve anymore at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of exercise. After the game of discus called them forth.
Come on.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers.
What? Read that again.
Not setting by the honors of their fathers.
Our people chose rather to not set by the honors of their fathers, but what?
But liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
We like the glory of the white man best of all. Come on, watch this.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them.
What does sports do to us?
Sore calamity came upon them.
Sore calamity came on our people because of that thing. Y'all looking at me strange now because y'all love some of you, I'm guilty of it too. I used to long time ago. Long, I'm talking about 30 years ago. Like to play that stuff, but some of y'all groom your kids into that. There was a brother in Connecticut that groomed, you remember him, Laba? Grooming his son to be a pro ball player. He could play, but there's a consequence behind all that stuff. Read the verse again, Isaac, so y'all know this ain't my own opinion. I ain't giving y'all my opinion.
2 Maccabees 4:16. By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them.
Wait, read it again.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them. For they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose custom they followed so earnestly, and unto whom they desired to be like in all things.
You see, now you know why the black man runs out when he gets a scholarship to play ball. He runs out and gets what? The white woman. The Dominican man too, dominating up there in baseball. What does he get? The white woman. They don't want y'all and nappy-headed ghetto girls and all that. They don't want you. Get out of here. Look at it. There go your boy Tiger. And they got a dog too. The dog don't run away. That dog don't need a leash. Ghetto dogs run.
Oh, I thought you was talking about the wife.
Oh, you talking about his wife? You cold, y'all, sup. You cold. Yeah, you cold, but that's true. That's true. But see, a lot of times we think sports is harmless and there's no consequence behind it. And because your preachers will never tell you. Read that verse again, Isaac. I need y'all to see what God did to us because of our sportsmanships.
2 Maccabees 4:16. By reason whereof sore...
I want verse... Yeah, that was it. You was right. I was wrong. Go ahead.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them.
You see that? By reason of which sore calamity came upon our people. Sore calamity comes on... y'all see that movie, Any Given Sunday? That was big in the movies. But at the end, you saw the brothers were jacked up. They could not enjoy their fortunes and fame. Knees was all... What was that medication that had to pump in their knees and their elbows? Cortisone shots and all that. They was just jacked up. Why? For the love of the game, for that fame, for that fortune, for the women. That's what they love. That's it right there. That's the movie. If y'all didn't see it, starring Jamie Foxx. Okay, just check it out. See what they go through just for that fame, for that fortune. Okay, and then you ask yourself, well, I don't get it. Now all that stuff. Now you see a lot of football players coming out the closet now, right? Now you know why they wear them skin tight. You see, y'all don't know why they do these things. They in the shower. I'm telling y'all, in the showers, butt naked. Then you putting on skin tight leotards or whatever they call. I used to ask her that question. Why does Superman wear his drawers on the outside of his outfit? There's something wrong with that stuff there. I'm telling y'all. I know y'all like Superman. I'll leave him alone for a moment. John 19 and 15.
The book of John, chapter 19 and verse 15. But they cried out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them. Pilate saith unto them, shall I crucify your king? The chief priest answered, we have no king but Caesar.
So at this time, you see the loyalty that our people had for Rome. It's the same loyalty that our people had during the time of the Greeks. Okay? That same loyalty, that Stockholm syndrome, okay, where we love the other nations more than our own people. Okay? From there, go to Matthew 27 and 25.
Matthew chapter 27 and verse 35. 25. Then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and on our children.
This is when they was giving him up, okay? When they was delivering Christ before Rome. They wanted him crucified. Read that verse again.
Then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and on our children.
This is why we suffer today. Okay, this is a part of why Deuteronomy 20 hit us so hard, because of the mouths of our people. Read, that's why Christ said, every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account for. Read it again.
Matthew 27 and 25. Then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and on our children.
Right, from there, let's go over to Zechariah 11 and 4.
Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 4. Thus saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter.
See what God calls us? The flock of the slaughter. Go ahead.
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
We see that every day. Trayvon Martin, Grimaldi Graham, Demetrius was the last name? Darius Simmons. Okay, read that again.
Whose possessors slay them.
We are held in possession to the so-called white man, whose possessors slay them. Go ahead.
And hold themselves not guilty.
Do they hold themselves not guilty? Yes, they hold themselves not guilty. And our people are shocked, amazed, and astonished. Why? Because we have given our soul and our love to this place, and they're still treating us like dogs. Okay? And hold themselves not guilty. Our sons get shot up. Ebony Magazine is having 4 different covers next month in honor of what happened to Trayvon Martin. They're going to have, who's on these covers? 4 different prominent blacks. You have Spike Lee and his son. You have, Dwayne Wade and his sons. There's 2 more. Right there, and this is the remaining son, right? There's Spike Lee and his son, okay? And what was his name again? Boris Cujo, right? About what happened. All that means nothing if we do not return to the Most High God. All that means nothing, because all they want is what? To be a part of America. Our people in doing all this stuff like these magazines, they're not talking about deliverance and leaving and getting our own nation like God says. They're talking about being united as one with our enemies. That's what they're talking. They're talking about what that dude was just talking about, a covenant with Black America. Let's be at one. Read that again, Isaac.
Zechariah 11 and verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Come on.
And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
And they that sell them what? Read that part again.
And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord.
That's what the white man says. Blessed be the Lord. Go ahead.
For I am rich.
For I am rich. Because Wall Street was built up on the backs of slaves. All the monies accumulated to keep this place, New York, Chicago, Detroit, going, was built up on the backs of our ancestors.
Right. Can I say something?
Go ahead.
When we use the word slaves, I like to use the word our fathers. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes we hear words like slaves and you have a detachment, a disconnect. That's why you have to say your daddies, your mothers, so that you can pick picture yourself inside of it. That's the reason why I have trouble with these terms sometimes, because I know how our brain is. We are so conditioned into thinking that we're Americans, and we hear about slavery. Oh, that wasn't us. That was, and then you get some so-called white man or white woman stand up on a talk show and say that was years ago, and you're simple, stupid behind talking about something. Yeah, you're right. And those were your fathers and mothers that they were selling.
Read
that built this country.
Read that again, Isaac.
Zechariah 11 verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
See that? And when it says their own shepherds pity them not, who are the shepherds of our people, Khalil? Who are some of the shepherds of our people?
The shepherds are the leaders. Al Sharpton's, Jesse Jackson's, whoever else that's out there that's
Harry
supposedly
Belafonte, Louis Farrakhan. Those are all the leaders out there. Those are the so-called leaders out there. And the Bible prophesies, what, Isaac? Read that part again.
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
And our own shepherds, our own leaders, pity us not. From there, go to Isaiah 30 and 12. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 12.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 30 and verse 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon.
Read that again.
Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word.
See, our people, we've been here for over 400 years. We have tried everything. We've tried voting. It didn't work. We've tried marching. It didn't work. We've tried nonviolence. It didn't work. We've even tried violence. It didn't work. We've tried everything under the sun except the word of God. Read it again.
Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word.
And that's the proof. We despise this word, God's word. I know what some of y'all thinking. No. We tried this before. The Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., for the uneducated simple Negro, did not base his teachings on the Bible. Who knows what he based his teachings on? Right here, new brother. Give him the mic.
Gandhi.
Right, Gandhi, an East Indian. Okay, that's what he based his teachings on, not on the Bible at all. That's why his speeches were so profound. But what scriptures was he quoting? What scriptures was he quoting? Not near one. Not a one. But our people who despise this word go, oh, that's the word of God. That is the word of God. See that one in the middle, Abiel? Right there, that one right there. Now go, there's another one. I just saw another one. Go back up, back out. Go down, go down, go down, go down. Right there on the left. See the drawing? Down, down. Yes, that one right there. Because the white man knows what Martin Luther King based his teaching. Negroes don't know. Our people, oh yeah, that's the Bible. That's the Bible. No, that's not the Bible. That is not the Bible. Because if he had read the Bible, he would have read what we just read in Zechariah 11. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. He ain't never read that. There's a lot of things in this Bible. Okay, where you at, Isaac?
Isaiah 30 and verse 12.
Come on.
Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression.
And trust in what?
In oppression.
And trust. Give me another word for oppression. Right there. Give me some more. Give me some words. Because y'all read the word oppression, and or the first thing that might pop into your minds is chattel slavery. But it's not going into that. We trust in oppression. What is the oppression we trust in?
We trust in America's justice systems.
Okay, that's one. Give me another one.
We trust in their jobs, their Section 8, their programs for assistance.
Azariah.
The whole thing comes down that we trust into their democracy, their political system.
Right. I like that. We trust in their entire political system. That's why when you got Puffy, Sean, what's his name? P. Diddy with shirts. Vote or die. Can you put that up there, Abiel? Vote or die. Do you know our ancestors died for the right to vote, nigga? You are crazy. Where has voting gotten us? Where has voting gotten us? When did we first get the right to vote? Google that thing, Abiel. Google that. I used to know, but I can't remember off the top of my head. When did the Negro get the right to vote? It's in the late 1800s, I think. I just cannot remember the date. Tell me when you find it. Where we at, Isaac?
Isaiah 30 and verse 12.
Read that again.
Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression.
And trust in oppression, go ahead.
And perverseness.
And perverseness. The perverseness is still going with their politics and their religions. Go ahead.
And stay thereon.
And what?
And stay thereon.
And stay thereon. Abiel, you got to read it for me. Get to the point. Who got a mic?
The 15th Amendment to the Constitution granted African American men the right to vote by declaring that the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States and or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. It says, although ratified on February 3rd, 1870, the promise of the 15th Amendment will not be fully realized for almost a century. So it says right here, it would take a passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965.
Who knows what the Voting Rights Act of 1965 is? The Voting Rights Act of 1965. Remember, it was ratified, it was implemented around 1870. You got your right to vote. But there was the vote, what was that thing again? The vote, what is it, Abiel, what did it say?
I'm sorry, it's the Voting Rights.
The Voting Rights Act of 1960. Who knows what that is? Yahshua. Talk on the mic.
That was the enforcement of it. So they wrote it down, but they didn't have anything in place to actually implement it until the Voting Rights Act of 1965.
No. Azariah. Oh, you got it? Okay, let's just read it then.
All right. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 is a landmark piece of the national legislation in the United States that prohibits discrimination in voting.
Right, stop right there. Who knows what was going on?
During that time, when our brothers wanted to vote, you had the Klan beating us up. You had them making like hard tests for us to vote and everything.
Yes, something else. Go back down. Go back, Abiel. Okay, read on, Abiel. Watch this. Echoing.
Echoing the language of the 15th Amendment, the act prohibits states.
Listen good to this. Echoing the language, I'm going to read it, Abiel. Echoing the language of the 15th Amendment, the act prohibits states and local governments from imposing any voting qualification on prerequisites to voting or standard practice or procedure to deny or abridge the right of any citizen of the United States to vote on account of race or color. The act was signed, the act was signed into law by President Lyndon B. Johnson, who had earlier signed the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 into law. It came back up again. What the states were doing was they gave you black men a test, meaning like a reading, the prerequisite was if you could read. They said, okay, you can't vote if you cannot read. Now, pretty much all of us know how to read. They could pull out a book, get one of the hardest books out there. Let's see, you got a book on Shakespearean literature. The certain states like Texas could say, okay, in order to prove that you can read this and explain it. And it'll give you a passage from there. Though thou knowest this thistle uponest mine, and you got it, what the hell? You can't read it, you do not have the right to vote. That's what many states were doing. So now the Voting Rights Act was prohibiting that. But it came up again, it was either last year or this year. Every couple of years, was this year, Joel? This year, came up again because it's still a law. And blacks are saying, why don't you just get rid of that? If we are citizens, why do you got to give us a test to show that we know how to read and all that? So who remembers what a law came down, who remembers what it was? Where they said the states do have that right. If a state decides to implement that, they can do it. And you Negroes have nothing to say about it. But we all equal. We all equal in the sight of God and the United States of America. Yeah, so our people is foolish.
They allow you to play football and basketball and you forget all about stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Read that again, Isaac. What did you say, Malachi?
I was saying that they don't do that to the Chinese or
Right.
the Europeans that's not citizen but can come over here and gain that citizenship. All right, they don't tell them they got to renew rights to vote and all of that.
Exactly.
All right?
Read that again, Isaac. Isaiah 30 and 12. Listen good.
Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon.
So we despise the word of God. God has given us the program on deliverance. God has laid out this is a roadmap on how to give our people salvation, how to break the bonds of sin. Okay? That's on us. The Most High says, I'm giving you the plan because when y'all get to this level, I'm going to deliver you. Our people go, I don't want that though. No, I want democracy. Now you got some clever Negroes. They say, listen, democracy is not the way. The way to go, you have one group now, you got black men becoming Republicans. Another group that I heard a couple of weeks ago say, no, socialism is the way to go. No, Negro, the God of heaven and earth, we got to go by what he says. When is our people going to start doing that? We trust, and listen to what God says. Read it again, so you know that this ain't my words.
Isaiah 30 and verse 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon.
Our enemies have implemented Marxism, liberalism, socialism, communism, democracy, republicanism, and it's all meant to divide and conquer. A Negro has not figured that out yet. We still go, I think we should be there. I think we should. God is saying return as the 12 tribes of Israel. And we're going, I don't want to hear what he say. I don't want to hear, yeah, there you go. Black and Republican. This is a new thing that's going on now in this country. It's still meant to divide us and pull us away from the word of God. That's why there's a media blackout on the Israelites. They don't want this truth to come out. But it's going to come out whether they want to hear it or not. It's going to come out. Come on, Isaac.
Therefore, this iniquity...
read verse 12 again. I need this to resonate.
Isaiah 30 and verse 12. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon.
And we stay in that stuff. Go ahead.
Therefore, this iniquity...
What is it?
This iniquity...
It's an iniquity to trust in oppression. It's sin to trust in your oppressors. Go ahead.
Shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant.
Because we're realizing democracy, republicanism, liberalism, socialism, Marxism, communism, all that stuff has failed us. No matter what venue we go to, in politics, it fails. It always fails. We always end up with the short stick. You know that game with the short stick? We get the little stick. The white man goes, oh, you got the short, you pulled the short stick again?
You always get the short stick.
Okay, give me that Proverbs 30 and 3 about envy. Envy and the oppressor, that one. You know what I want, Isaac? 3. Proverbs what? 3:31, thank you. Come on.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
That's why we're following all these political things. Read it again.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
We want to be just like our enemies. We want to be just like our slave masters. That's what we were reading in the book of Maccabees. We want to be just like them. Read it again.
Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
No, we can choose some of his ways.
And choose none of his ways.
A little bit of his ways.
And choose none of his ways.
Nobody want to do what the Most High says. Nobody wants to do what God says. That's why, give me that in the New Testament. I know you clever ones up in here. That ain't what the New Testament, not what Jesus said. Is it Corinthians 6 and 17, somewhere around there? Come out from among it, that one.
6 and 17. 2 Corinthians 6:17.
Come on. 2 Corinthians 6 and 17. That ain't in the New Testament. You don't know the New Testament.
2 Corinthians 6 and 17. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord.
That's too hard for us. We go, what is he talking about? We just read, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Christ says through Paul here, come out from among her, my people. Read it again.
Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate.
And be ye what?
Separate.
Be what?
Separate.
Be ye separate. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord.
Saith who?
Saith the Lord.
So this is the word of God. Go ahead.
And touch not the unclean thing.
Name some of the unclean things that our people like to touch that God says don't touch. Aquila.
Sports.
Sports? You just made some of them mad up in here. Well, that's pretty good. The politics, religion. Yeah, it was on. God says touch. That's the unclean thing. God says don't touch it. Huh? Right. And they're woman. You know them that Kardashian family is expert on looking for blacks and Latinos that make money and go in like vultures and rip them off. Take the money. Just have a couple of kids, pop out a few babies, and leave them. That's what they do. And that's not the only family. There are a lot of so-called affluent white families that do that thing. Right. They go to charm school. Right. Exactly. Come on, Isaac, where you at?
2 Corinthians 6 and 17. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
Come on.
And will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty.
So this proves our people in the churches have not learned the Bible. We have, as a people, we have not learned the true word of God. We've learned religion, but we have not learned the true word of God. Come on.
That verse, read that verse again, because I can't imagine how people could sit up in church and read this and still come out stupid.
2 Corinthians 6 and 17. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord.
Stop. Wherefore, come out from among them. Who's the them that God is telling you to get away from? Just even if you didn't know, just say you didn't know. You know that God is trying to pull you away from something. And it ain't talking about inanimate objects, because he's saying them. You see that? Showing you that our people are willfully stupid. That's what that's showing you. I'm going to say it plain. I don't give a damn about people's feelings getting hurt, because I'm tired of people calling themselves reading the Bible, and then when they read across something like this, they come with this Christian garbage. The Most High is only for the nation of Israel. That is it. And that's who he's calling. Go ahead.
Go to Lamentations 4:17. Here's another one. Here's some more.
Lamentation chapter 4 and verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
See that? In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. We pray that America could save us, and day after day after day, America lets us down. Oh, let a catastrophe come. See, you be the last one to get some food, some water, some shelter. You be the last ones. All of those, like, what was that latest hurricane that hit over there in the Rockaways and so-called Hurricane Sandy? Those Edomites got together, rebuilding. They ain't doing that same thing in the ghetto down on Surf Avenue, on their Coney Island, or in the Rockaways. They ain't doing that same financial push to rebuild, but they're doing it where the whites live, where Esau live. Right, that was it right there. That was Katrina. Right, they made that song, Stronger Than a Storm, and donated it. They didn't donate it to black people or Latino people that caught hell in that storm. And nobody sees that. Nobody speaks about this stuff. Your own black, quote-unquote, black leaders, hush, Mo, don't speak about that. I don't say nothing about that. Leave that alone.
we were talking about the Stockholm Syndrome and all that. Our people are so damaged in their spirit, we don't even think that we deserve to be in a better case. We've actually, like we was reading out of that book a few weeks back, about Denmark VC.
Right.
So why do you bow down to these white folks? He said, if you're going to continue to do that, you deserve to be slaves. A lot of our people actually believe that's where we belong.
Exactly. Exactly. Read that again, Isaac.
Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help.
Meaning useless help. Vain means useless. Lying, false help. Go ahead.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
America cannot save us. You might be asking yourself, well, how you know this is America? Well, let's keep reading.
They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets.
This happened during the time of the 1400s, 1500s, 16, 7, all the way up to Andrew Jackson. Go ahead.
Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled, for our end is come.
Here it comes.
Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven.
They're swifter than what?
Than the eagles of the heaven.
What's the symbol of America? The eagle. So the Bible is written just like this for a reason. Because blacks and Latinos try to be clever. Well, how do you know that this is what it's saying? We know what we know. Because we know the Bible. Okay? Our enemies are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. Go ahead.
They pursued us upon the mountains.
Didn't they do that to their so-called American Indians? They pursued them upon the mountains. Go ahead.
They laid wait for us in the wilderness.
And they laid wait for them in the wilderness to steal this land. Okay? From there, who can tell me the law and judgment? I want the law. I word it like this. I want the law on slavery. The law on slavery. What is God's law on slavery? Ramiah.
Exodus 21:16.
Let's get that. Read that one. Exodus 21:16. This is the law for slavery.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 16.
And I want a minister to read this thing. Go ahead.
And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
Read it again.
And he that stealeth a man.
Were we not stolen as a people, as a nation? Yes. Go ahead.
And selleth him.
Were we not sold? Yet nobody knows? Yes. Go ahead.
Or if he be found in his hand.
Are we still in his hands today? Read.
He shall surely be put to death.
That's the judgment. Y'all don't want, you know, that's why, see, the white man is very clever. When he taught the Negro ministers that God's laws are done away with, like I always tell you, the white man is 10 steps ahead of us when it comes to thinking. He's already known, listen, we can't let these people read these laws. Tell the slaves, if they go and read the Bible, stick with the New Testament. That's what they do. But
the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah.
That's both kingdoms, northern kingdom, southern kingdom. Go ahead.
Were oppressed together.
Our people are oppressed together. That's how we know the Latinos, the Indians are so-called Israelites, because we were oppressed together. When we were made slaves, they were with us in slavery to this day. Go ahead.
And all that took them captive.
And all, listen good to this part, and all that took them captives
held them fast.
Held them fast.
They refused to let them go.
They refused to let us go. That's Bible prophecy. Now, we read the law, right? Remember what Christ said about the law. He said, I'm not come to destroy the law or the prophets. Remember he said that in Matthew 5:17? Give Revelation 13 and 10, 9 and 10. This is why when you read this, ministers and so-called Christians cannot comprehend, can't understand why Jesus said this. Revelation 13, 9 and 10.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Here is the patience and faith of the saints. Some people don't understand why Christ said, he said it because of what the law said. He said it because of justice. People are confused about that thing. Not my. See that Jesus y'all. You want all the atrocities to happen to our people, and God just says, just forget about it. Yeah, I know the white man did this, you did that, let's forget. God is a just God.
On your point. Could you read verse 9?
Revelation.
The reason why, because we normally just go past that, but let's meditate on verse 9.
Revelation 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Why did the Bible say that? Who that in the back? Levi? Yeah. Why did the Bible say? Why did he start off with that? I can't hear you.
Simply because not everybody's going to understand what the Bible's saying.
I can't say it again.
Simply because not everybody is going to understand what they're saying, the meaning of the saying.
It ain't a problem with understanding. Yeah, you're right, but it ain't a problem with understanding.
Also, because the captivity part, the way our people have been brainwashed, they will not believe that their oppressor is going to be going to captivity themselves.
Okay, you're right. Now, but here's the point, not to detract from what the elder's saying. Read it again, Isaac.
Revelation 13 and verse 9.
You're right with what you're saying, but I want to go a little deeper, then I'm going to give it back.
If any man have an ear.
Stop. Do all men have ears?
Yes, they all do.
So why is Christ saying this? Because everybody don't listen. He wants you to hear what he's going to say. He said, if you have ears on your head, open your ears up and listen to what I'm about to say. In other words, I want these words to go into the deep recesses of your brain. That's what he's saying. Read it again.
If any man have an ear, let him hear.
So open your ears up and hear. Read.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
He wanted you to digest those words in your brain. He that leadeth into captivity, they're going into slavery. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's a chain waiting in their future. Read.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
He that killed our people with the sword, they must. Not maybe, not perhaps. They must be killed with the sword. That's reap what you sow. That's a law in the Old Testament.
Now this is a painting from the Varanay. This is what our ancestors painted on a cathedral in Romania on one of the churches. You see all the angels black. Now look at the ones in chains. Can we zoom in? Or pixelates. But those are Edomites, so-called white folks. Our ancestors had more. Now this was painted in like the early 1400s, 13th century. You got chains on their necks and all that. That's the church.
Some of our people are looking at this and think we're looking at a comic book. You don't realize that these pictures are thousands of years old.
Right.
This is not a most Negroes have no clue that paintings like this exist. This comes out of a monastery over there in Romania, the Varanay, and motivated. It started naming a whole lot of churches where these paintings were at.
Show the black hand of God in justice, right there. Zoom in. That's.
Save it, then open it up.
Right. Or pixelate still, but look at the hand of God right there, black, over the white man. And it's a scale of justice,
I gotta stand
judgment.
Up. I got to stand up.
That's one being judged.
I want y'all to look. I know how the Negro brain is. He'll say he's not seeing. Where you at?
Take his mic.
No, I'm good. They'll say that it's not. They look quite black, but they're not black. You see the angels? You see the angels off to the side? You see the hand of God? You see the halos?
Paint points so they know what you're talking about. You got to take the loose mic, take Malachi's mic.
Look at the color of the men here. See the brown color? See the hand? You ain't got to go to it, it's going to pixelate. I want y'all to see. See the color here? Now look at this. They're letting you know it's a difference in color there. That means our forefathers, they had better sense than we do today. And they knew the scriptures. They knew the scriptures. This is actually out of the Bible, what they're talking about.
Exactly.
And in the book called the Varney, that's where this comes from. We have, some of us have this book.
Right. Show the actual church so that they know that this ain't from a comic book. Some of y'all think, well, that's a comic book. This ain't a Jehovah's Witness comic book. You know that stuff they make up?
That's the name of the book. Right, that's the church.
That's the actual church right there.
This church here, if you zoom in on those walls, those are where the paintings are. All inside, it was like 5 churches through 5 different provinces all throughout this area. Romania, Russia, and all of that.
Right, exactly.
That's what this is talking about. So this church is still standing. Negroes talking about they went to travel. We don't know nothing about stuff like this here. And these paintings are all in there, painted by our forefathers, showing you that we ruled over there.
In Europe, it's known that the Jews are black. It's known. They know that already. In America is where it's hidden. Why? Because the bulk of us are here. That's why it's not a secret over there. That's why they don't hide it. They go, oh yeah, the Jews are black. We know that. But in America, it's hidden because they know that the bulk of us, according to Jeremiah 15:33, that most of the 12 are here in the Americas. So they keep that a secret. They keep this stuff a secret. These paintings and pictures and all of that. That's it.
And wait. The verse that he read was, he that leadeth, because this is the reason why you went here, right? The reason why we went to the picture, because our foreparents, they knew the Bible better than we do today. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Look at what the so-called white people have around their legs. Chains. Okay? You see this? Look! Shackles. Oh, and it says, sinners going to hell. That's what is written in the book. It says that in the bottom of the book, sinners going to hell. After the judgment of God, the black hand, which way would the balances tilt? Remember that, Elder? Yep. That's what we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Who's on?
Elder.
It's working out. I remember many years ago when I met Yawasop and I came into this truth, they used to give us VHS tapes. Y'all don't even know what a VHS tape is today. But I'll never forget when the brothers were speaking in the streets. They were in Wall Street, and they went up to a European couple, blonde hair, blue eyes. They were from Germany, and the teachers were telling them that Christ is black, and they were like, so what? We know that already. And they were from Germany. And they said, so what? It was like, big deal. They was like, we know. They said there's black images of Christ being black where they live. You understand? So when y'all see this stuff in Romania, and Google Romania today, look at the map. Ain't no Negroes living over there. So the point that we're making is that when we ruled in these areas, when we ruled in Germany, when we ruled in Europe, because we had the whole thing on lockdown. Okay, it's unbelievable for you to believe today. They still have these things standing and they don't care. Because they don't expect a Negro to take a trip over there and take pictures. The Black Madonna, okay, mother and child, okay? They have these things. And the only people that don't know are dumb, unlearned Negroes in the United States of America. They're not hiding this. They boast these things. Some of their churches, they still have black images of Jesus Christ, and they say they don't care.
Go back to the Varney. We don't want to see all that Catholic stuff. Go back to the Varney. Northern Kingdom start going crazy. I'm going to tell you why these books, how many of you know why these things are on the internet? Anybody have an idea why this stuff is put on the internet? Nobody got any idea? Ramaya.
Because it's already out there, and if they try to hide it, it just validates it for everyone.
Right. This did not get out there until the Israelites started teaching us and showing us. We got an influx, I'm talking about from years ago, of where is those images from? What is the name of that book? After that, that's when these things started popping up, because people wanted to know, where did y'all get that from? Did y'all make that stuff up? Because like they're saying, people in America, they live under a censored, in a bubble. America's in a bubble, where you got the most powerful nation here, but the citizens are the dumbest. Okay, yes, Bezalel.
Now they're trying to censor the internet because they want to put a stop to a lot of this information coming in.
Exactly.
But what I wanted to point out was that even in the Varney, that temple, when you look closely at the images, they're whitewashed a bit.
Right,
because when you look at them, the outer borders are always dark, and it's towards the middle where the highlights are, where they start getting white.
Right.
And a lot of times when you see these images, they change the shape of the heads and the face because the original images had afros and kinky looking hair. So they had to distort it a bit to try to make it look like Caucasians.
Right. This is how they do it. They break off the paint. Notice it's artistically done, the breaking away of certain colors around there. Then they redo it. That's the art of iconoclasm. That's how they do it.
That's where the
they
term
didn't finish.
whitewash came
They
from.
didn't finish. That's why you see some of them look like those. Some look darker than others because they couldn't complete it.
Exactly.
So some of it, when you look, some of them look, the paint looks more newer than in other portions.
Exactly.
Because they didn't get to those parts.
Can you zoom in at the top of that, Abiel? The top right there. The very tight top right there. I might pixelate, I'm not sure, but yeah, zoom in. Go up to the top. Right there is Christ in the middle with the archangels around him. Jet black. Jet black. And on the right is the apostles. On the left, you have the prophets. I got the book at home, so I know exactly what it is. Okay? You got Mary there. You got John the Baptist to the right. Okay?
Is there any mistake about the color of those people in this picture?
And in some of the books that IUIC has, because IUIC has them in a secret chamber somewhere. They'll confuse you as you're going through the book because you'll see some people light, some people dark. Some people light, some people dark. Then they put in captions, they showed you that they were trying to lighten the paintings. So you'll look, you'll see the feet light and you'll see the face black.
I'm going to mention something. I have a book at home called Spanish Illumination.
Right there. You got Abraham and Isaac holding the 12 patriarchs. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Them three there on the far left is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the 12 patriarchs, the 12 tribes is in their bosom, holding them. You got John the Baptist behind him, right? Then you got the angels to the right. Okay, and Mary's right there. All black, all black. John the Baptist.
Now I'm going to make a statement on how the white man works. I have a book. I actually took it out of my bag last night. I actually had it with me. I should have brought it in. The name of it is called Early Spanish Manuscript Illumination. And it's talking about the art that's over there in early Spain. And in there they have a photograph of an icon, Early Spanish Manuscript Illumination. And in there they have a photograph of a painting of Christ and the angels. And the picture is so black that the racist writing that they wrote about the picture, they said, with Christ, it says Christ in majesty.
That's the book?
That's the book right there. That's it. In that book, there's a picture where they show of...
That's by John Williams.
Right.
John
They
Williams.
show a picture of Christ and the angels. And it says in the caption, it says, Christ in majesty. Christ, whose darkened flesh tones give him an almost negroid cast. That's what they say in the book. So you look at the picture and you see that they're black as soot. But when you read the writing, you go back to sleep, you say, you know what, they look black, but the white man said they're not quite black. And the thing is black as tar.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 5 and verse 12.
This is what the Apostle Paul warned Israel about. Go ahead.
For when for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God.
That's the first thing you need to realize in your mind. When it comes time that ye ought to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again, because you need to learn. Real quick, get me 1 Timothy 3 and 6. I'm digressing off the topic. Remind me to touch on marriage for a second. I got to hit something with marriage. Don't let me forget that. Don't let me forget that before class ends, marriage. 1 Timothy 3 and 6.
1 Timothy 3 and verse 6. Not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil.
A novice is a neophyte, a beginner, someone that's new to the faith. The Bible says don't put a novice in positions of authority. Why? He said why, Isaac? Because what?
Lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil.
I see that a lot with young men. You come in this truth, you learn 3 scriptures, and before you know it, you're better than everybody. There are people who is against this truth who we trained from the age of 16. Remember that age, 16, 17, 18. Now he's 25, and he told Ithon and Asaph that he taught me. You know who I'm talking about. The dumb northern kingdom, I ain't gonna say his name. But now he's so all-knowing. And I see that with some of you young men. You learn a few scriptures, then I hear your speech. I'm better than this brother. I'm better than, shut up. You're not better than nobody. That lets us know you're a novice. When you start to exalt yourself and put the officers of 20 down, I ain't gonna tell you who did it, but he's sitting in here. Put certain officers down and all that. You lucky you still got your rank. Because you need to be demoted, because that is evil. And you're the second person I heard say some evil like that. So after tonight, we're going to have to sit down and realize what should we do with spirits like that, because they are a hindrance to the body.
Those spirits are not leadership material. Those are the type of spirits that Paul warned that they will try to be lords over the flock. That's the first state to have preeminence and let everybody acknowledge them for their greatness and their understanding. Now the next time is to entreat the flock evil. Once you get that level, that position that you are the all-seeing and you're smarter than everybody, the next thing out your mouth is evil. Okay, because Christ said the greatest of us all must be what to the people? Servants. And some of y'all don't know how to serve the people. Some of you just run your mouth and look at other brothers and try to tear them down and say, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better. Who sees me? That's a dangerous spirit to have in a brother.
Exactly. Yeah, you know this with all the wisdom brothers will have. But they could not control their spirit. They could not control their thought. You have to be able to control your thoughts. Not everything pop up in your mind you're able to come out your mouth. A spiritual man don't think like that. Spiritual men examine their thought, question the thought, you understand, if it need to put it out or not. You understand? That's how we know that you can know how to move precept on precept, but with no understanding. You understand?
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models.